Follett's Pillars of the Earth is an interesting, perhaps even compelling narrative with wonderful visuals and a pretty score. Unfortunately, it's trapped behind a game that, while engaging at times, feels slightly undercooked. First impressions are kind of important, and this one leaves a rough one. When I opened the game, I was given the option to go through a tutorial. You start in a dimly lit room and are given a basic runaround of the mechanics. I'm not trying to be unjustly harsh here, but I should point out that I didn't even realize the tutorial had begun because of how dim the environment is in the starting. I genuinely believed this game was still loading. For a point-and-click adventure, the controls seemed unnecessarily complex, relegating actions that could either all be menus or part of a toggle system to buttons that I found disorienting. I'm not trying to be nitpicky here, I'm being this specific about my gripes right now because I found these things distracting rather than immersive. It's kind of upsetting because for as much as these things took me out of the game, there's plenty of ideas and just things that are fun here. From what I've found so far, the art design loves to depict these sweeping landscapes, full of detail in both foreground and background. The sound design helps build this larger picture that feeds into the atmosphere. The world of this story is dark, moody, and the pieces of background work love depicting that. I can't really say the same for all of the character models, specifically during conversation. The following is something present in most visual novels, but handled differently with each one. When a character model speaks in this game, you watch their talking animations run well after their dialogue has finished.
Of the terror by night, nor of the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
In comparison, in things like the Persona games, characters will either have a catch-all chatter animation, or not have chatter animations at all to keep it from feeling awkward when they speak.
Is that supposed to be comforting?
I'm going to detail my experience through the prologue because I think it's most representative of my playthrough so far. Tom is in the woods, trying to get through the day by boiling water to drink and keeping a fire alive so his family will also stay alive. His wife, Agnes, is pregnant. She'd be best off in an actual building with others to help, but that doesn't seem like a possibility here. They're too far away. After he gets the fire started, Tom begins to relax. He tells stories to his children, explaining the world to them. But then he's ripped out of that by the present. His wife is going into labor. They can't move, they can't get help. He just has to deal with it, and so he does. Tom delegates tasks to his kids. He stays present with his wife. He tries to keep her mind off the pain, and then the baby arrives, and he relaxes again. The baby is safe. The fire's still going. His wife is talking. And then she dies before he realizes that she is. The dramatic irony of knowing as the viewer here and watching him realize what's happening to her is crushing. By that alone, we're given a taste of the kind of story we're getting into. One with a cruel world that moves on regardless of its characters' feelings. Point being, the story is rich and the characters are easy to feel for. In turn, it's easy for this adaptation to feel like original work because of how well meshed all aspects of this art is. It flows together naturally. It's all great. But the gamier aspects of this game get in the way of me enjoying it as much as I know I could be. During the entirety of the prologue, there's moments that break tension because the gameplay does not feel streamlined. When I'm finished with all potential dialogue options, the game doesn't move on, it just leaves them as options, and sometimes the dialogue insinuates that there's still more to do.
Let me do something.
Alfred.
Let me do something.
It's possible that moments like these are meant to indicate that there are branching paths in the game, but in gameplay it just left me feeling more confused. In addition, stiffness between some lines will end up leaving some parts feeling funny instead of dramatic and serious, which is weird because sometimes that pacing is perfect, and then in the next two lines it feels spaced like a Kingdom Hearts scene. I've made it known that I like that series, but if there's ever been a representative of stilted dialogue, it's that one.
Get the people out!
Okay!
There seems to be general technical jank at play here. This can't be blamed on the Switch's ability to run this game. It's not graphically demanding in the least bit, and most of the visuals here look beautiful. But the interaction that gets you through everything feels laggy and stiff. Sometimes dialogue will be perfectly paced, and sometimes it will take entire beats before the next line sets in, and it leaves conversations feeling disjointed, like a slog.
It's Adolphus.
There was nothing, believe me.
I heard him crying in the crypt. I think I heard him too.
This tends to be a problem with JRPGs and visual novels, but the industry is catching up. Errors like this are caught faster, so this feels like an unturned stone. I normally try to avoid reviews, but I was really trying to be patient with this game, so I went to see what other people thought. A review on Metacritic pointed out that this game was a very good adaptation of the book, but it's only rewarding to the more patient gamers. So, here I am, trying to be a patient little gamer, wanting to love this game more than I can. It's frustrating that the emotion this game pulls out of me the most is frustration, because there actually are stretches of time where I forget about the jank and I just get into it. I guess what this leads me to is that despite the glowing reviews that are present for this one elsewhere, I personally feel that there are some key aspects left unpolished that prevent this game from shining as well as it could. Normally I finish writing my thoughts by Wednesday, but if I have more thoughts, I will hastily add my new opinions to this review. Future Brett here. Yeah, I played a little more because I was worried I wasn't giving this game a fair shake, and I've concluded that there's some areas that are really rewarding, like just the idea of consequence within this game, because it doesn't hold your hand, it just shows you what happens after you take any specific actions, and I think that adds just a level of tension to gameplay. But I think my criticisms still maintain here. It's a good game, it's just hindered a little bit. Thank you to Daedalic Entertainment for the review code.